So, hey you guys, welcome back. As I said in previous videos, if you see me looking down, I like to keep notes so that way I can stay on track. Even though I wrote these down, I'm noticing the videos are really long. Please let me know if that's a problem so I can shorten them down, or if you don't mind at all, which is great. I want to share with you the podcast pastors that I listen to and why I listened to them while I was single. And if you're interested in like an updated of what I listen to now, just let me know. So the first intro to this is I gravitated to people that their thoughts were a bit like-minded. Like they spoke to what my belief system was. So even though I'm sharing these few with you, find your people. Because what you don't want to do is allow yourself to get a bunch of information and it's not going to be valuable information. The first person that I listened to, which I thought he was super helpful, I haven't seen his videos in a really long time because clearly I'm no longer single, but I felt like this was a really great starting point. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he was one of the first people that I ever listened to, and for that it is Stephan Speaks. A lot of his videos was about breaking behavioral patterns, communication, and expectation. My personal opinion is if you are a woman and you're looking to date a man, you should listen to a man discuss traits of a man and not a woman. Sometimes I feel like when women are giving advice, they're giving advice from their own experience of sometimes hurt, trauma, or even wins. And that isn't necessarily going to be the outcome for you. I think one of the things that I pay attention to is don't listen, watch how someone acts. Like how they're acting is going to tell you. So if someone says like, oh my gosh, I like you and I miss you, but then like 2 days went by and they didn't call you, I don't think you like me nor do you miss me. Like, I don't care what you said. Your actions aren't like showing me that. But you may have someone that has a conversation with you and they might say to you, oh, it's okay that he doesn't call you for 2 days. That might be good for them, but that might not be your threshold. So you shouldn't base someone else's threshold on yours. Stefan spoke more to, hey, if you want someone to call you, date the person who you want to call. Don't date the person who's nonchalant, who doesn't want to call you. You're already creating it's not a compatible situation. Again, when there's so much information being put out there, it's just good to find the balance of someone who's going to give dating advice. And from my understanding, don't quote me on this, he definitely said he was Christian. So that I think also matters also when someone is giving you advice, that they kind of take the world out of that. So brace yourself. And I do mean brace yourself, because this may come as a little bit of a surprise. But if you know me, you're probably not going to be surprised. I listen to Kevin Samuels, but not for the reason that you may think, okay? What I learned from Kevin Samuels was preparation over perception. I do not agree with the rhetoric of a lot of things that he did. It's good to hear things good and bad. That way you can kind of hear what not to do and what to stay away from. And one of the things that I took from his YouTube page, one call in particular, the young lady had been living in a condo or something, and the guy said he was going to pay for it for like a year. And Kevin said, what are you going to do after the year? And she had all these plans, but they weren't really plans. And so I was like, oh shit, like you should have a plan. In certain situations, if you're not careful, you again demoralizing yourself, because now you're exchanging your body for material things. And I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't tell my sisters, that I wouldn't tell my friends, especially with the conversation that's currently going on, that you want someone to like pay your bills, you want someone to do this, and then you also want the luxury buys. There's a very thin line, and I feel like as a woman, you should have a very strong no. And when money comes into the conversation, you should still have a very strong no, and the no shouldn't be like an easement, like maybe I'll think about it, I'll do this. I'm not going to mention any names, But in particular, I've heard women now are coming out speaking about how when they were in said relationship with, whether it was an artist or a football player, whatever the case may be, that they agreed to doing certain things because of the lifestyle. And then now that they're not together anymore, like they're saying that they felt like they were manipulated and all these things. But I'm like, listen, I have had a lot of opportunities. And when I say a lot of opportunities to be in spaces to do certain things. And my answer was no. As a single woman right now, you need to get a notebook and you need to put whatever the income is, I don't care, whatever it is, how would you live that life? Because quite honestly, if you meet someone who is making that money, they're looking for you to have some level of intel. Let me just say, because someone's going to say guys who make money or women who make money, they normally go for the girl that works at the Waffle House. That's somebody that's lacking intelligence. Unless the girl's really smart. Not everybody that work at Waffle House ain't dumb, and I hate to use Waffle House as a reference. Most of the time, they're looking for someone to add on to that. Whether it's, hey, I'm going to give you $50K. I don't want you to come back to me tomorrow and ask for another 50. I'm going to give you $20K. I don't want you to come back tomorrow to ask me for $20K. You need to be able to at least flip that money some way, somehow. That way you don't come back and ask me for money. Write down what that life looks like for you. If you have children, write down what that life looks like for you. In my past relationship, I wasn't working, but I definitely added value. Every single home was an investment that I fixed, that I added value into and added more money into. So when it came time to make a purchase, the other person wasn't concerned about buying a house for this much or that much or making any sort of extra expenditures, because I knew how to maintain it. So again, if we're discussing Proverbs 31 woman, you have to be able to maintain what you're asking for. Even if you're not bringing that dollar amount, dollar to dollar, you have to maintain it. Sorry for the rant, but it was very shocking to me that women were asking for men to make a certain amount of money and then they didn't know what to do it. And in my era of growing up, I definitely saw a lot of women being mistreated, saying yes to things they didn't want to say yes to because money was the thing. And I know women right now who can't leave a relationship because they're stuck because of money. And so if you're dating somebody based on money, also understand that you are agreeing and signing up for something that you might not want to. And so always give yourself a way out if possible. The next person was Anwar White. He does relationship health and confidence. He talks about everything. I mean everything. Excuse me. I follow him on Instagram. He's been given awards. He's a speaker. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's had like a certain number of his couples get married. So he offers like some level of like counseling to his couples and give them like things to look for. I think it's good to listen to people who offer practicality and truth and not just, you know, what I've been seeing recently on social media where it's like the guy's supposed to pay for all your friends and all of this and all of that. And to be honest with you, let me say something right now. If you meet somebody and they're making a decent income, you don't want them to take care of your friends. I promise you. I promise you. I put money on it. I'm telling you. Because you want to make sure that money grows and stays within the household. And so when I see that, I'll be like, yeah, you don't have no financial intelligence and it's okay. So definitely consider that. Number 4, April Mason. I hope I'm saying the Mason right. For her, it was redefining value in relationships. Now, let me just tell you something about April, because she just put me on to something when I was single. So April had a whole thing of her talking, and she was talking about, she talks about a lot of things, but the thing that she put me on, which I really didn't know, is like how some guys can use women as like a stepping stool, like for their next phase. And I want to say she was like a relationship coach. So she coached not only men, but also women. And she talks about women being in their full feminine. She went to an event and every woman that had gone up on stage pretty much had gone up on stage. And she said she was the only person that when she got to the bottom of the step, she just held her hand out like this and like 3-4 guys had gotten up to help her, but no other woman had done that. So she's like, a lot of times you think you're operating in your feminine and you're really not. And I'm guilty of that. Let me just say, okay? There's been times where my fiance has like tapped my hand, but then there's definitely been moments where I've just stood there. Like when, in the early stages of us dating, I definitely stood there because I just want to see at least if you're a little bit chivalrous. The second thing that I do is I'll purposely walk on the outside of the street to see if you're going to put me on the inside. So there's little things that I will do in the beginning. I don't require that you do these things on the regular, but at least if you show that you have a little bit of chivalrous behavior in you, I'm happy, because I don't want to be sick or something to be wrong with me, whatever, and you're not willing or open to opening up the door for me. And so I think that if you're that type of girl and you want someone to like open up the door, you want the guy to like put you on the inside, you don't have to wait until like you're getting divorced to be like, he never did that with me. No, in the beginning stages of dating, just, be talking and, and you just happen to put yourself on the outside of the street and see how long he'll let you walk before. To me, I think if a man is interested in you, he's going to naturally put you on the inside, okay? Stand at the door. Does he get into his car? Now, once he opens your door and you get into the car, please scooch over and unlock his door, okay? Please unlock the man's door, because I done seen some stuff. Unlock his door. Click, unlock it. Be nice, okay? Be polite. But anyway, April just kind of put me in the mindset like it's okay to put your guard down and be really girly, especially if you're looking for someone to adhere to your feminineness, okay? Hopefully that's a word, I don't know, but sounded good, okay? So I tend to just be very lackadaisical in the dating phase of things, because you just want to see if the person has it. If they don't, move on to the next. It's just easy. I think disqualifying candidates is the best thing to do, especially if you're someone like me. I'm really not a dater. I don't want to date. If you out and about and you see someone and you're interested, that's fine, be interested, but don't play out your whole life scenario with them, because it's going to be hard to cut them off. And so for me, I guess I'm very much into conversation. The more we talk, the more I get comfortable, and the more I'm like, okay. So, but I don't play anybody into like my whole like, oh, we're going to be together forever. I don't know. I don't trust people, so my brain won't even allow me to even do that, because it'll be like, what you doing, girl? So I don't do it, but April definitely discussed that. Number 5, TD Jakes. If you don't go to church or you don't have a church home, find someone to listen to on a Sunday. Find some music. Find something, because your discernment, your spirit will definitely tell you when you're in the presence of someone you shouldn't be talking to. Find you a home church. I really, really enjoy TD Jakes in my single season. Right now, I listen to my personal pastor, and then 2819, I think he's amazing, okay? I like people who aren't going to coddle you into the spirit, because when you're in the world, you're not coddling anything. You're in there. And I mean all of up in there, okay? So when it comes to getting in alignment, I think you should also be as regimented and strict about the experience that you're going to have with God. And so I think 2819, he's going to give it to you straight, no chaser. My pastor, he calls you out, no chaser. I've definitely left church feeling guilty a couple of times. So I found those 3 that I gravitate towards and I listen to, and I also do attend church. So in closing, I just want to say that your single season isn't a punishment. It is a preparation. While you're single, the best thing you can do is work on yourself. Figure out what you like to do, what you enjoy to do. I did a lot of solo dates. I went out to eat. I went and had coffee. And let me tell you, even though I went on dates by myself, there were definitely times where my bill got paid, okay? And I was like, oh, this was cute. Having a little good day, whatever. I got to experience different restaurants. I took rides around Savannah. Sometimes I would just go to South Carolina and just do like a little staycation by myself. Sat by the water, listened to my music, went out. your time does not have to be consumed with the end result of your life. You can really just enjoy your life. And again, I'm going to talk about this, but I feel like when I am reading in the Bible and now like going into like the Proverbs 31, she's very much able, she's very much working, and she's very much not waiting around. I would highly recommend not looking at the situation as if it is a punishment and start enjoying it. My friends can tell you singleness looked good on me, not because I was so free and so happy, but I was just at peace. I think the moments for me where I felt like a little bit of a thing is like when I had really big wins and I was like, oh crap, like I don't have anyone to share with. I always kind of imagine my world was going to be shared with someone where I can turn and we talk about it in the bed, or we go out and celebrate, do something. And I was getting my trademarks. I was growing in my business. I was getting brand deals that were like the top of, I've ever gotten in my life. And Kevin gonna say something, but I called Kevin. I was like, Kevin! And, once we hang up the phone is hung up. I'm going to stand in my truth. My friends are amazing. I love them. Yeah, and they know I love them. But there's something to be said when you get to share it with someone who's seen you be up at now 12 o'clock, okay, 12:30, okay, and see you cry about, oh my God, I don't feel good about it, but I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be doing it, and they're telling you to do it, and then you do it. And so to see the reward of the 1 or 2 months of being unsure, of crying, of trying to figure it out, and then you landed, the celebration is just a little bit different. Because I can tell my friends all day long I had a bad day today, but that person gets to really experience the bad day with you. And so those were the only times where I'm like, oh gosh, like the celebration literally stops with the phone call. Once you get off the phone, that's it. There's no more talking about it. There's no more celebrating. The only thing I used to do, I used to go into my room, put my gospel music on, and I would thank God, and I would pray, and I would just say, I'm not serving you because I'm winning. I'm serving you because I know I'm winning because I served you, is how I was looking at it. But being single is definitely not a punishment. And again, I don't want these videos to serve as, oh my gosh, this is a success, or it's going to be a success for me. It's pretty much a baseline of, this is where I started and this is where I want to go, and then we're going to keep on going on the journey and really hoping for the best outcome. You guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.